Hello.
Hello, everyone. Very good morning, and thank you very much for joining us today for this very special HSMA 6 showcase event. My name's Dan Chalk. I'm the director of the HSMA programme, and I'm delighted to welcome you here today to celebrate the fantastic work of our HSMAs this year in developing some amazing project work, some fantastic impact stories, and their journeys over the last 15 months since around the beginning of April last year. And it really has been extraordinary, and we call this the never-ending impact story because we fundamentally believe that this is what HSMA is, that it continues to generate real and meaningful change for organisations and for patients. And today is predominantly about our HSMAs telling their stories and about the work that they've undertaken, their journeys on the HSMA programme. So we're delighted that you're here to join us today to hear about some of these fantastic projects. We've got a really packed agenda for you today, and we know some of you may need to sort of dip in and out across the course of the day, and that's absolutely fine. But there's plenty here to listen to, and hopefully lots of interest for you. So I'm just going to start by kicking off the day just talking a little bit about what HSMA is and a little bit about the HSMA round HSMA 6 that we've had this year, some of the changes and some of the future plans that we have for HSMA moving forward. Ooh, if I can actually move the slide forward. There we go. So what is HSMA? So I'm just going to turn that bar off so you can see properly. For those of you who don't know, HSMA is the Health Service Modelling Associates Programme. It's a programme that's been running since 2016, so nearly 10 years now. And the core of it hasn't really changed much. The principal idea is that we have staff who are working in health and social care organisations, and this programme is available free of charge to anybody within those organisations within England. And these staff are released for a day a week for 15 months. But in perhaps the best value proposition in training, they actually get a lifetime ongoing support for project work. So you come onto a training program, but you can continue to access that community for the duration of the program's existence. The program's kind of made up of two main phases. Phase one, which is the training portion, which lasts for about 6 months, and this is really a kind of an extensive training course where we teach skills in computer programming from first principles. We teach operational research and data science methods, so computer modelling, machine learning, all of these kinds of things. I'll touch on a bit more of that in a moment. And crucially, then, we think this is what differentiates HSMA from many other courses, is that this isn't just a program where you come on and you learn some new skills, because we have phase two, which we call the Inception project, which lasts for 9 months, which is where you take those new skills that you've learned and you apply them to a real world project of importance, something that is important to your organisation, that you can use the new skills that you developed in order to solve a problem and make things better. And that's fundamentally what HSMA is about. As I say, this is offered free of charge to participating organisations. We deliver it entirely online, and we've been national now across England for the last 3 years. And we teach entirely free and open source approaches, and that's kind of central to our ethos. So there's no cost barriers in terms of any software you need, but also it means that anything that you do can be openly shared and others can benefit from it as well. So why did we set this thing up? Well, we have a number of central aims of the HSMA programme. First being to try and embed operational research and data science in-house within health and social care organisations to develop that in-house capacity. to try and alongside this really, to try and increase the level of evidence-based decision making that's taking place within those services to engender real change for the service users, the patients. To try and develop skills in data science and modelling in health and social care staff, predominantly analysts, but not exclusively, and also to create this kind of collaborative community. So we have nearly 500 people in our HSMA community now, made up of alumni of the programme, current students, various academics, various members of the data science community. And this creates a very vibrant community of people from across the country, from different organisations, from different sectors, working together, and helps us achieve this fifth aim of developing and fostering collaboration. And of course, as I've just mentioned, its heart and the heart of the work we do within our wider research team, but also within the programme, is developing an awareness and promoting the use of free and open source approaches, and why we believe that's so fundamentally important. So why beyond this, why would we care about what HSMA does? Well, HSMA's had a lot of impact. It has generated a lot of real change, and this is just a kind of small snapshot of things that have happened over the last 9 years. And you can read more about this on our website, and we'll link to that a little later. But just some highlights really here. So one of our very first HSMA projects back in 2016 actually led to a new mental health ward being built in Devon that ensured that patients in mental health crisis who were being sent far away from their support networks, their families and friends, at great cost also to the service, that this no longer happened, and new facilities were built. It's a new building making real change for real people and having a real impact on their lives came about because somebody came onto this course and built a model. We've seen transformative improvements in urgent care performance. We had somebody from a couple of years ago from University College London who did a relatively simple piece of modelling work that actually led to their urgent care performance totally transforming and becoming one of the highest performing trusts as a result of the changes they made. During the COVID pandemic, we had a GP that came onto the course who'd never coded before, never done any modelling, picked up these skills, and then immediately used them in order to build a little model of how they were going to do their vaccination clinic, how they were going to set that up in North Devon, found that there was going to be a problem with the way they were going to do it, and then use the model in order to try and work out how they could make that more efficient, whilst also making sure that patients, vulnerable patients who they were vaccinating immediately, were sort of kept apart, and social distancing was adhered to, and all that kind of stuff. And it had a transformative impact on the way they set up their vaccination program. But there's so much more. We've seen so much impact. We've seen new modelling and data science teams established in trusts that have never engaged with this kind of thing before. We've seen identification of strategies, reducing waiting times in rheumatology. The list goes on and on and on. And today really is about starting to hear about some of the newer impact stories that you're going to be hearing about over the coming months. So who makes up the HSMA team? Well, it's three of us here. So myself as the director and trainer, Sammy, who astonishingly only joined us last year, but you'd think she's been here for many years, such is the value that she brings to this programme. And Gemma, who also relatively new to the team, and basically brings us back down to earth, making sure that all of the things in the back end are actually running smoothly. And we are all part of the PenCore team of PenARC. And I should flag up that rounds 5 and 6 of the programme were actually supported by what was Health Education England, which later rebranded to the NHS Digital Academy, or NHS England, and these rounds of the programme were actually commissioned by Health Innovation Southwest. So as I said, we started back in 2016, and if you want to chart the growth of this programme, these numbers are quite significant. So when we started in 2016, we were working with 6 HSMAs, a little pilot, to see if it would work. We had no idea if this thing would work. It sounded like a good idea, but we had no evidence. But we tried it, and we had 6 fantastic HSMAs from across the southwest of England. And back then we were just doing pathway modelling. We had a couple of days of training. It was much smaller scale compared to where we are. But over the years, as you can see, the numbers increased very significantly, sort of practically doubling across rounds, until we get to the latest round, HSMA 6, which began last year. We had over 200 applications for this programme. We brought on 178 associates, and you saw their names during that intro video appearing on your screen. 178, quite astonishing, from all across England. And in fact, since 2016, we've now worked with over 450 HSMAs from over 100 different health, social care and policing organisations from across the country. And indeed, this is our current cohort. We asked them at the very start of this round of the programme to locate themselves on the map, and you can really see the breadth of where they are from across the country. We've really got really nice representation all across the country there. Even some good representation down here in my home county of Cornwall too. We also asked them where they came from, what they did, why they came onto the programme, all this kind of stuff as well. And as I mentioned before, we get predominantly analysts who come onto the programme, but not exclusively. So yeah, obviously the nature of the skills that we teach is more likely to appeal to those who are working in analytical roles. But we've got a lot of clinicians this year. We've got a lot of managers and people working in all sorts of other roles. We've had people from hospices for the first time ever, from blood donation services. The breadth of organisations and roles that HSMA continues to appeal to is really astonishing. And it's really important, if anybody is sort of sat there thinking that you might be interested in coming on to a future round of the HSMA programme, and thinking, well, I don't know anything about coding. Well, do you know what? Most people who come onto this course don't. And you can see that through this. We took this right at the very start of the programme, that actually, most people weren't coders, or certainly weren't expert coders, but we had a nice sort of representation right across the spectrum. Very few were Python coders, which is the language that we teach on the programme, and increasingly few had experience in the particular modelling and data science methods that we teach. And we teach all this stuff from first principles. We teach programming the way I taught to myself when I was 4 years old. So you don't need to come on to this course with all that sort of experience behind you. And looking at the way in which people were motivated to come on, they really wanted to. It was great to see such fantastic things like this, that they wanted to learn and make a community. They wanted to have committed time to be able to put into this kind of stuff. And people were really excited about these kinds of opportunities. And as ever, with HSMA, a lot of word of mouth spread through this, both from colleagues and from managers. So what was new this year? Well, I already mentioned, by far our largest ever cohort, nearly double our previous records, 178 students at admission. Alongside that, we also made a change to the way in which we mentored projects. So we opened up this kind of community mentoring structure, where we basically, as long as projects met certain criteria, then they would be automatically registered. And that's resulted in our largest ever number of projects. As it stands, there's still projects being registered as we speak. We've got over 75 active running HSMA projects. To put that in perspective, that's significantly more than all of the projects that we supported across HSMAs 1 to 5 in the 8 years prior. Okay, so that, just to put the number of projects there into perspective. And we've been able to do this by the way in which we've switched to this kind of community mentoring structure, drawing on the expertise of our near 500 strong community and bringing people together to support each other. We have this new philosophy that is now governing the way in which we approach HSMA. That's any HSMA, any project, any time. So I touched on this a little bit earlier, but basically any HSMA, whether you're on the current round of the programme or you were back on in HSMA 1 in 2016, you can register a project anytime you like. And indeed, we have a number of projects that are run by alumni of the programme that are accessing, not just accessing the support that we continue to offer, but also working with HSMAs from other rounds. We've got a fantastic example of a project at the moment that's working with somebody from the first HSMA, somebody from the fourth HSMA, and receiving project support from the SAMI. So absolutely fantastic that we've got this collaboration building on. We brought in some new training sessions as well, including a new introductory training session. We redesigned training right across the curriculum. We brought in these project development clinics, which was this idea to help people understand how they might go about framing a research project based on the problem they were trying to tackle. We developed these new HSMA forums in phase 2, which brought people together to basically share what they were doing and have an opportunity to present and share issues and come up with ideas. We brought in a pirate-themed training session. That was top of the list, which I have to say went down very well. And of course, last but certainly not least, we had Sammy and Gemma join me. So it's much nicer not having to do all of this on your own when you've got 178 people. So I keep talking about the kind of collaborative and community aspects of this program. The HSMA Community Hub is central to this. It's our Slack workspace that basically serves as the primary means of communication on the program, and we use this in order to both communicate with the HSMAs and for HSMAs to work with and collaborate with each other. And there are dedicated channels right across this hub, which contain things like general announcements from program staff about what's coming up, training resources, that kind of thing, general community chatter. There's a channel if you're stuck on some coding stuff, you want to ask if anybody can help you. There's an impact studio where people can post about things that have happened as a result of the work they've done. Every current HSMA project has its own channel. You can imagine this hub is getting quite large with the number of projects we've got. Each peer support group, I'll come back to that in a moment, has their own channel. You've got an official HSMA game which has its own high score table. It really is a sort of central hub for everyone, HSMA, both past and present, to come together, and we encourage everyone to use that routinely. So I mentioned the initial phase of the programme is the training phase, and basically once a week HSMAs attend weekly live online training sessions. These are full-day sessions, and basically these sessions contain a mix of live lectures, so us teaching stuff, but interspersed with lots of group exercises where they work together in groups, they talk about things, they try things out that they've just heard about, as well as some whole cohort interactive content where we all do something together, and various discussions, and people present on various things as well. And as I mentioned, most of the content that we teach is based around the Python programming language, but we don't require you to know Python. We don't require you to know programming. It helps if you know that you enjoy coding, but we certainly don't require that coming onto the course. And really, we have a very extensive curriculum that currently spans over 8 different modules, looking at things in terms of introducing some of these concepts and the programming. But looking at things like modeling pathways and queuing problems are hugely popular approach that's used in HSMA, and you'll see a lot of that today. Geographic modelling, so looking at where you locate services based on where your demand is. Machine learning, obviously a huge thing at the moment, looking at AI and machine learning and how that can be used to support operational decision making. Natural language processing, how we extract information from free text data, of which there is much within the NHS. Looking at ways in which we can model behaviours, individual behaviours of patients, and how that might impact our various services, and things like open source collaborative development and model analytics and pathway analysis, where we're using modern tools in order to improve the way in which we can collaborate and work together in an open way. And we're hugely excited. The HSMA programme is actually accredited by the Association of Professional Healthcare Analysts, or AFA. It's actually the very first programme that was ever accredited by AFA, which we're very proud of, and we produce certification on the course via Credible as well. Now, I mentioned these a couple of times, that we have these things called peer support groups. Basically, at the start of the programme, each HSMA is allocated to a peer support group that consists of a random selection of people on the course, and so we get a mix of skills and people from different places of the country and from different organisations, even different sectors. And so all exercises that we give in the programme are undertaken within these groups, and they work together and they support each other, and that's really crucially important. There are two of us trainers, myself and Sammy, and we'd be quite exhausted if we were trying to answer 178 people's questions all the time. So this is fundamental to the way in which we can grow the scope of the programme. And that provision of support doesn't just extend to the training days themselves, but also beyond that. So even outside of training days, people post questions. We've even had peer support groups that have set up revision sessions, got together to go over some of the content that we've gone through in the main training as well, which is fantastic to see. As I mentioned, though, the real heart of the programme being phase 2, the Inception project, where people actually take these new skills that they've developed and apply them to a real world project that will make hopefully a real difference to patients. And we call this the Inception project. And the reason we call this the Inception project is that we don't intend this to be a kind of one and done thing. This is the whole point of HSMA, is that it builds these skills for the future, both for the person that's participating in the programme, but also their organisation as well. And so we call this Inception project to indicate this is kind of the first of many, what we hope to be the first of many projects that they will go on to develop for their organisation in their career. And they have, again, that lifetime support that they can constantly tap into the HSMA community to gain support, and also to look for collaborative opportunities as well. During phase 2, we have these HSMA forums, these monthly meetings, bring people together who are working on projects, just get them to share what they're doing and talk, and that's a really vital part of the process, and really helps to bring people together and allow them to share ideas, share challenges. Things will go wrong, and come up with solutions about how these things might be mitigated. We've had some absolutely phenomenal feedback from our cohort this year, and I have to say a personal thank you to everyone who has shared that amazing feedback. It's just a small selection of some of the things that we've received from them. It is personally heartening to hear how much people have enjoyed the course, but also how much they've got from it, and how transformative this has been for them in order to be able to transform their skills, the very work that they are doing, the capabilities of their organisation. It's the reason that something that motivates me to get out of bed in the morning and do this. That we know that we're having this effect on people, and so it is absolutely fantastic to hear about all of the amazing stuff that our HSMAs continue to do. As well as that, we've also collated feedback more officially throughout the programme as well, finding out areas we can improve. We know there's always things that we can do to try and improve the programme. And we had some things this year that people flagged up to us. They said some people struggled with the coding a bit more than they thought they would. Some people found it a bit too fast-paced. Some struggle, this isn't a particularly new problem, we've had this since day one, but some struggle to get the engagement for their organisation to keep their time protected, and that for some that became an insurmountable challenge, and they had to sort of drop off the programme, which was a real shame. And some people found that we found the peer support groups were a bit of a mixed bag. So some people absolutely loved them, found them hugely useful. Others struggled because of that very sort of mixed level of expertise within the group. So we did a couple things within the programme itself, sort of live as it were, to tweak this, to try and help. One of the things we did, which I'm kind of most proud of actually, because the effect that it had for people who were struggling, we created this dedicated brand new 11th peer support group exclusively for people that just wanted to take a slightly slower pace, and people had the option to sort of drop in and out of that group whenever they liked, and it was fantastic to see the way that group developed over the course of the training. I have to say as well, Sammy in particular put on a huge amount of revision sessions and one-to-one support sessions. She still has them in her calendar now. Any HSMA now can still book some one-to-one time with Sammy, just talk about problems they're having, or I don't understand this. And Sammy will try and resolve the problems for you. So it has actually been fantastic to see that level of support. But we've also got some more significant changes in mind for our future of HSMA as well. So just to touch on that a little bit, we're hoping to launch the next round of HSMA, HSMA 7, around April next year. Well, that's still to be confirmed. And we're going to be working hard over the next 9 months on redesigning the programme. There's going to be quite an extensive syllabus review and a bit of a rewrite and a bit of a streamlined focus and lots of things and ideas that we've got in mind for the kind of content that we're delivering. But we've got lots of other plans as well, and just a glimpse of some of the things that we've got in the pipeline. So one of the most major things that we've got planned is a spin-off, a brand new spin-off programme known as HSMA Lambda, which is going to be targeted at senior leaders and decision makers. So these will be people who we want to be engaging with this kind of work, but are likely not going to be the people that will be building the models themselves. But we hopefully will be the people who will be sending people onto the program and engaging with them to say, we've got these kind of problems, can you tackle this with your new skills? And actually that will bring us back much closer to what we had at the very start of HSMA, where our director at the time and myself, we went around to basically chief operating officers across the southwest and said, we've got this really mad idea, what do you think? And they said, we think it's great. By the way, we've got this idea for what we think they could do with this. Let's send somebody onto the programme. And I think it would be great to get back to a little element of that as well, and really try and improve that engagement from a senior level and awareness at a senior level of the sort of things that this stuff can do. So it will be a spin-off programme. It will be targeted at these people who will improve their awareness that this stuff exists, what it can do, help improve engagement. It'll help senior leaders, decision makers ask better questions to their modelers and their data scientists, so that they can ask the right kinds of questions. They know what kind of stuff these approaches can help with, and that will help to generate more impact by ensuring that this stuff actually informs decision making. And it also provides an opportunity for these people to be able to link in with the HSMA community, to be able to find people within their organisations who can work on this kind of stuff, or to link up with other organisations and identify collaborative opportunities. And as I mentioned, we're hoping it'll be a nice opportunity for staff to nominate individuals who can be sent onto the programme with a particular idea in mind about what might be able to, how these modelling and data science methods may be able to help their particular organisation. In addition, we're also hoping to do a pre-program HSMA course, which will be kind of a self-contained learning materials container, which will basically be used by people who are thinking about applying to the program, but they're not sure, they've never done coding before, they're not sure how well they're going to get on with it, because it's a really difficult question. It's all very well for me to say, it'd be nice if you knew if you'd enjoy coding. Well, if you've never done it, how will you know? So actually, this is an opportunity for basically anyone to come on and try things out and try out a bit of coding and learn the basics, and then decide whether you think this is something you'd enjoy and think whether this is something that you could get on with, and move on to the main course. And we hope that this will kind of reduce people coming onto the programme who are just struggling too much. It is a difficult course. It can be intense for anybody, but we don't want to be at the stage where people are struggling so much that they're feeling lost. That's not a nice feeling for anyone. And so hopefully this will allow people to better kind of self-judge this, and also allow those kind of new coding skills that they're developing to settle in bed, because this stuff takes time. And hopefully it'll ensure, one thing we didn't want to do when we heard this feedback is the natural reaction might have been to say, okay, well, we'll make sure that only people that come onto the that have got 10 years coding experience can come onto the course. We don't want to do that, because actually one of the great successes of HSMA has been that we have continued to attract people who have never coded before, but go on to do absolutely amazing things. And we've got a number of those people that fit into exactly that category who are going to be presenting to you today. And it will astonish you when they tell you that they've never coded before. By the way, here's this fantastic model that I've built. Okay, so this is, we absolutely don't want to lose that. And so hopefully this is a way in which we ensure that those people, we can still encourage them onto this course, because anybody can do this. We also had the feedback about the peer support groups. We think, you know, clearly the concept of a peer support group is fundamentally important for a number of reasons to HSMA, but we want to see how we can tweak that. And given the huge success of our 11th peer support group that we set up during the programme, we want to sort of take that idea further. So we've kind of got this idea at the moment that we'll have different peer support groups that will have different flavours of engagement. So there will be a peer support group that will be just for you if you like working together all the time and talking about things, and but actually you've never coded before. Similarly, there'll be a combination if you have coded before but you like to talk about things, or what if you have coded before and you prefer to just try things on your own and then just engage with people, etc., etc. So the idea is that there'll be a peer support group for anyone. You can kind of self-select into the kind of working style that suits you best. We're also going to be bringing in more hackathon type sessions into the program. We did a few of these this year, and it was hugely successful. Actually getting people working together, trying solving a problem using their new skills, a sort of mini taster of what the projects will be like, helping to really solidify learning and hopefully smooth out that intense pace as well. So we've got a number of things. There'll be more as well, so do stay tuned for more announcements. But those are the three sort of big things that we've got in mind for HSMA moving forward. Another thing to flag up, and again, a huge credit to Sammy here, who did basically all of the hard work here, and Gemma did a lot of the sort of back-end stuff, getting the content up. We've got a fantastic new HSMA website that looks far better than anything I could ever create. Don't get me started on web development. hsma.co.uk, fantastic, easy to remember. This is your one-stop resource for anything related to HSMA. It's got information about the programme. It's got a full directory of every HSMA project there ever was, and you can sort them by different criteria. So you can have a look, well, which projects have been done in my organisation, or which projects have looked at mental health, or which projects were done in HSMA4, and you can have a look at all of those things and filter things really easily. And there's links to if they presented on that work, there's links to their slides and their presentation videos. All of these will be attached once we get them uploaded after today's event for the current projects as well. GitHub repositories, so you can go in and actually look at their code and use their code and adapt their code for your own purposes. We've got case studies of impact stories. We've got I keep mentioning about the free and open source nature of our course. We really are free and open source. All of our training materials are free and open. They are shared under a free and open source license, such that as long as you don't use it for commercial purposes, you can adapt the training materials and teach them yourself, should you so wish. But you can certainly access any of our training materials. There are full links to all of that. But Sammy has put together a really easy to use teach yourself online multimedia book. So if you come away from this thinking, I fancy learning Python, there is a online book that will walk you through that process, and it's based on our HSMA lectures, the snippets from some of the recordings as well, but it's a full-on multimedia book that will then go on beyond the content of the lectures as well, and as I say, absolutely fantastic. There's stuff around pathway modelling, machine learning, lots and lots of different things. You can access the training materials for every training session of every module of the course, completely free of charge, including the full video recordings. So if you want to listen to me talk for 6 hours about machine learning, you've got your wish come true, you can do that. It's all on YouTube, and it's all available, and you can do the exercises, and you can pretend you're on the HSMA program. This is a fantastic thing that we like to offer. We've also got a number of interactive games and apps that demonstrate various concepts in a slightly fun way, and lots of resources as well for our current and former students. So
we're at 22.
Yeah, sorry, thanks, Sam, I'm nearly done. Just a couple of things to flag up. So the HSMA website is our main resource, but as I mentioned, we have got all our recordings, and you can use our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@HSMA. There's fantastic all of our lectures that have ever been, all of our events. This will be going up on YouTube later, and of course our GitHub as well, where you can access all of the training content, all of the code examples that we provide within the exercises, and more. Just to find out very quickly, thank you, Sammy, for pointing out I've gone slightly. I knew I'd go slightly over. I started slowing down a little early because I thought I was going too quickly. Anybody that's based in the southwest, well, technically it's open to anyone, but you'd have to come down to Cornwall. We've got an event coming up in Cornwall. This is, I mentioned HSMA Lambda for senior leaders. We've got a little pilot workshop where we're going to try out some concepts. So this is an in-person thing. So if you're a senior leader or decision maker and you're either in Cornwall or you don't mind coming down to Cornwall for the day, then we've got this upcoming event here. Sammy and Gemma can post in the chat the links if you want to book onto that. But I do encourage you to come along. We're going to be teaching discrete event simulation, which is the main modelling method that you're going to see a lot of today. Also to flag up, with 75 active projects, there are a lot of things. You're going to see about 22 projects showcased today, but there's a lot of projects that are still running, that are still to be showcased. So we are going to be hopefully hosting a second HSMA 6 showcase around December. There'll be more projects to see, hopefully as well some impact updates from some of the stuff that you do see today in terms of what happened as a result of some of this work. If you want to find out about this or any other upcoming event, we recommend being on our mailing list. Just email pencord@exeter.ac.uk and follow our HSMA page on LinkedIn. Again, we can pop these links in the chat, and you'll be notified of this event and many other upcoming events, including when we open up applications for HSMA 7. Also, just to mention, hopefully you've already been sent this link, but we have got prepared what we've called the Hitchhiker's Guide to HSMA. You can hear a lot of different concepts today, things like discrete event simulation, natural language processing. Now, none of our HSMAs are going to go into vast technical detail, so don't worry about feeling lost. But if you want a slightly easier guide to what some of these terms mean, you can open up, and hopefully you've all received this as part of your booking, that you can use the Hitchhiker's Guide to HSMA to flick through, and it'll give you a simple and hopefully slightly witty overview of what these things are, at least enough that you can nod along and pretend you know what they're talking about. Last but not least, most important thing, of course, we have a gift shop. So if you're sat there thinking, I really want to be wearing a t-shirt right now that has the words HSMA Find the Future in You, you can absolutely do that. So grab your chance to grab a official HSMA t-shirt. QR codes are here, or indeed new for this year, an official HSMA hoodie available to the 1st of October. We've turned off profit making on this, so the prices are at cost. So you can simply buy these if you do want to remind people as you're walking around about the wonders that are HSMA. So my very last slide, just to explain the format for today. So there's going to be 22 presentations running across the course of the day. These are kind of split into two types. We've got some keynote presentations, which will either be 10, 15 or 20 minutes in length. And these are basically for those pieces of work that have generated, either started to generate impact or are getting to that stage and have a kind of clear pathway to impact. To flag up, we won't be fielding questions live. So what we're going to ask you to do, if you've got questions for the presenters, we'd encourage you to ask questions, make use of the chat facility on Zoom, and our speakers after their presentation will answer within the Zoom chat. We've also got a couple of lightning talk sessions throughout the day just to break things up as well. So lightning talks, we've got for each session, we've got 4 lightning talks, and they'll be 3 minutes each. They'll give a very quick overview of, hey, I'm doing this thing and this is why I think it's cool. And then there'll be about 20-25 minutes where we'll move into breakout rooms, and you can go and speak to those people about what they're doing and ask them more questions. And these are generally for projects that are a little bit further off, they're a bit newer, but it will be worth having a chat and finding out a bit more about what they're doing. And there'll be 4 breakout rooms for each session, basically 4 rooms, room 1, 2, 3 and 4. If you want to see the first presenter, they'll be in room 1, etc., etc. This will all be explained later. Right, I'm going to stop talking. I'm so sorry, Sammy. I went over by 6 minutes, so I will stop there. If there are any questions, I'll try and answer them in the chat. But I'm going to hand over now to our PenARC director, Stuart Logan, who has very kindly agreed to come along today and talk to us a little bit about HSMA and its importance to PenARC. So over to you, Stuart.
Hi, so really great to be here. I'm going to try and do this as quickly as possible, so I'll catch you 6 minutes back. So just a couple of things I really want to say to you. One is to ask you to do a bunch of things. So I'm going to come to why. As Dan said, this is part of something called an applied research collaboration, PenARC, which is something that's funded by the National Institute of Health Research. That's really important for us because these things were set up primarily to bring evidence closer to services, to make evidence useful to services. So when this whole thing was kicking off, when Dan and crew had this idea about HSMA, to be honest, I was pretty skeptical. I thought, really? Is anyone actually going to want to do this? Are services ever going to let people come on a course like this? Well, of course, that was wrong. And what's happened is that HSMA has turned into a real piece of magic. What we've seen is that it actually allows us to help people develop the skills to bring evidence really close to their service and to really change things. And there are loads of great examples. So it's fantastic. But of course, we have to remember that it all depends on somebody giving us the cash to make it possible. And so I'm going to ask you to do 3 things for us. For those of you, particularly those of you who've been on and enjoyed the course. The first thing we want to do is we want to just make sure that you spread the word, that please talk to people about the course and what you've done. And as part of that, we're really anxious that people document what they've done. So please write the stories about what you've done, write the stories about your impact. Let us have them so that we can explain to people why it's worth continuing to fund the basic organization, but also why it's really worth making sure that people get the time off from their organization to participate. The second thing I'm going to ask people to do is, please, if you do talk about this, if you can use the magic words about this is the National Institute of Health Research is funding this and making it possible, because it's always a challenge, particularly in our straitened financial times, to persuade people that funding the stuff that happens in the background, rather than just the clinicians on the front line, actually makes a huge difference to the outcome for patients. And then finally, the third thing is, one of the things that the team keep talking about is just how enormously valuable this group of alumni has become. Because what we want is not people to come and do a single project, but we want people to be doing these projects over and over again within their organizations. And we know that that really works far better if you've got support rather than try to work on your own. So please do stay part of the alumni program, do work together, do kind of shove your projects out into the ether so that people know what you're working on. So that's all I wanted to say. It's always a joy coming to these things. I have to say, I've been saying to Dan and Sammy that I've been sending loads of people a link to today's program, not just because I think they might join, some of them won't, but also so that they can actually look at the extraordinary diversity of projects that people have run. It's absolutely amazing. So right across health and social care. And yeah, so it's a delight. I'm great to see you all. Well, I wish I was seeing you all. And enjoy the rest of the day. Bye.
Thanks very much, Stuart.